Hello, everyone. Hello to the radio waves. My name is Mr. B for today, but y'all know what the real name is.
BICTH.
Um, I am originally from New York, but based in Miami. Um, I run a party called Call to Action, which we'll be talking about today. We give funds to trans people here in the community and like dance down. Being one
Hi.
of them. Yeah, and I'm excited just to talk a little bit more about what we're doing at Call to Action, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hi, my name is Lunes Onya. I am the founder and director of Always Lunes, a community platform here in South Florida that promotes the underground scene, just, kind of bringing it to as many people as we can. And I also organize events here and there.
Kind of to start off the conversation, could you talk to us a little bit about Call to Action and what your inspiration was for starting the collective?
For sure. So the summer where Ron DeSainton went off on trans people, specifically there, I'm thinking about this specific event that happened at PAM where we had it was like a panel of trans folks. Sage was there, Opal was there, Sensitive Black Hottie was there. Um, who else? I think Lady Paraiso was on the panel. Anyway, Opal had said something about that summer, and it was basically there was a bunch of legislation coming out about anti-trans bans, essentially, what that was going to affect trans youth, but also slightly affect adults. It was just essentially another target against trans people, and um, the panel really spoke to me and made me feel like a lot of folks were ready to leave. Like they were like, I can't do it anymore. I can't be in Miami, and it was very much a napkin sort of pen and paper sort of moment. We all went out to dinner afterwards and we're like, we could just raise funds for people and make them like like send them away to the places that they want to go. As much as that hurts my heart to see queer and trans people leaving,
Yeah.
I'm like, we can do this. So I put together a really fire lineup, and everybody volunteered their time as well as I did, and we raised $4,800. And that went to Ray Woods, Chaplain Tyler, and Rhea. And everybody was able to get a little something and go to LA, and they're very happy there now. So that was kind of the beginning, and it was just like a huge experience. It was like, wow, all these people are interested in what we have to offer, and then I just kind of kept doing them, and we've raised, I think about $8,500 now, and given out that money to about 9 or 10 people here in Miami.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a beautiful experience, and just being able to celebrate trans people in the space. So yeah, I'm grateful. It's a very healing experience, and Miami has been very welcoming to me as an event organizer. So.
And can you talk a little bit about the sound that you look for when you're curating the lineup?
Absolutely. So I'm originally from New York, so my sound is really global. I mean, you'll hear me play everything from dancehall, dembow, soca, Jersey club, Arabic music. I'm Egyptian, so I try to incorporate all these sounds together. So I don't feel, no shade, but I don't really feel like that sound exists really here in Miami. For me, the sounds I'm hearing a lot of perreo and I'm hearing techno. And so for me, I wanted to stand out and be like, all right, I want people to think beyond those genres and really plug into this music. So when I'm listening for people, I'm listening for the ability to just go across genres and really make it whole. Like all this music is connected together. I'm really talking about black music when I'm talking about this, but because that's all where it stems from, and it needs to be celebrated. And that's also another thing when I'm booking artists, I'm really thinking about folks that are underground and um, there's so much talent here in Miami. So, yeah.
And is that also does that also influence kind of like the energy that you try to embody at these parties? And because I know you guys do a lot of work in creating safe spaces.
Yeah. So I like to say a statement at the door. So for me, I do tier pricing, and what that is just the more marginalized you are, the less you pay. So for me, if people look at that and think it's discrimination, it's probably not the party for you. You probably don't understand
Yeah.
the systematic violence that is happening against Black and trans people. I feel this is a form of reparations to folks, and also also recognizing the social economics that are going into, throwing a party. Like, not everybody can afford the Uber, the drink, and to get in. So,
Right. Yeah.
and it also centers the folks that I want to see there. I think that Black and trans people deserve a space to be free and to let loose, and that's exactly what we do. So, I mean, if you've ever been to a call to action, like, you leave with your knees like on the floor. That's the vibe. Like, it's giving therapy, it's giving church. Like, we are here to release. So much beep happens to us all day, all year long. We deserve a space to just let go.
Absolutely. 100%. And did you find when you first started organizing the parties that you kind of already had a community, or did you find like after you threw more of them that even more people that you didn't even know that were in Miami that were trans started coming out to these
I
places?
didn't even know these people. Like, I've been in Miami for 2 years, so I knew my little clique. But all of a sudden, everybody started coming out, and it was really beautiful because I had never seen any of these people. I think for me, call to action represents like all these queer and trans people that are just so isolated around Miami and don't have a place to go, and bringing them all together and recognizing the visibility of that, because you don't really know that there are queer people here. You jump in your car and you go to your destination. It's not like Brooklyn where you see queer people all the time. It's in your
Yeah.
face. So it's like very affirming as well, the space. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. And what was it like during the early stages? Like, did you have a lot of collaborations initially, or was it a work in progress?
Um, the working like the first party was great. The second party was a flop, to be 100% honest. I learned a lot. I lost a lot of money. It's tough being an event organizer and really hoping that you're gonna
It's a
break
gamble.
even. It's a gamble. Yeah, I feel like folks don't really recognize how much we're gambling with our own money. It's a lot of work, but I started getting really consistent, and we found a home, aka Dear Eleanor. Shout out to Dear Eleanor. Um, and then people just started coming, and the numbers started growing, and it was incredible. It's incredible to feel like people believe in you and believe in what you're trying to do, because it is so much work. So much work, and there's not a lot of money in it. Collaborations wise, um, for me, if I'm going to collaborate with you, you need to be on the same ethics. Meaning, like, what is your stance? Do you think we have a genocide happening in the Middle East? These are things that are very important to me, because this party ropes into anti-capitalism, and everything's all tied together. So, of course, Masisi, aka my bestie, Akaya, Pressure Point.
Shout out
Shout out to him.
Masisi.
Shout out to Masisi, the OG of doing this work. Really, I was able to pull from that because he has already set that up. If you're not familiar with Masisi, they're a Black queer collective here in Miami, and have been doing this work for 5+ years. Legends. So,
If you guys remember Masisi from, I think, October, we had them on the station.
exactly. And now they have a radio, which I'm on as well. Masisi Radio will be streaming tomorrow from the Garden. So check them
2
out.
p.m. tomorrow.
2 p.m. tomorrow. Soiree, another incredible collective doing very similar work. And me and Saturn did a collab for Pride, which was
Saturn, sorry, pero del futuro.
thank you. which was insane. We
It
had
was so good. Yeah, the warehouse.
that was
crazy.
It was incredible.
Massive.
I don't know how I lived after.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah, it was like 400 people in a hot warehouse, and it was giving everything that we needed it to give. So, yeah, excited for more collaborations in the future.
Definitely. Yeah, we were talking earlier about the importance of collaborating together and just pooling together your resources and, just having that support group there. Do you think it's kind of hard to balance entertainment and activism when, it's at a party where everybody is there for entertainment, obviously, because they want to, just have a free space. But there's also the whole activism and fundraising aspect to it. So when you were first organizing, did you kind of think about how you should represent both sides of that equally?
This is interesting. This makes me think about how capitalism is roped into partying, and as you grow as a organizer, you face it more often. So I think for me, the answer is no, because for me, it's about the ethics of the party and why you're doing it. The ethics of the organizer. Are you a sellout? Are you more interested in building a party? Because people, the bigger dogs eventually approach you, and the ethics are probably not aligned, or maybe they are.
Yeah.
So, and I think this even ropes into DJing too, right? Because eventually, as you get bigger as a DJ, you get bigger opportunities. I can actually speak a little bit. So I was approached by a celebrity to play for their party. The party never ended up happening, but this person was a Trump supporter, and it was going to be a really big deal for me to play for this person. But it's a very tricky gamble. I did take the gig, but I also know as a person, like, what I stand on, like, and all the things I do. Sometimes you need to sacrifice. It all depends, right? Because sometimes the check is really good.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know if that kind of answers the question, but I think there's a very fine line between balancing your ethics. We all participate in capitalism, so I think it's a give and touch. So
Yeah. I mean, I think, well, if you remember the community meeting at Dear Eleanor that took place.
That community.
Yeah.
God bless America.
Yeah. It's just funny talking about it now because, it's at the end of the day, we're all kind of living in the economic situation that is Miami. So you can't necessarily blame yourself for just doing something that's like a means of survival at the end of the day.
I just wish more people had a backbone. That's all.
Yeah.
I just wish like people were, and you know what it is because I come from New York, and everybody, like, people have a set of, this is how I am, this is what I am. I feel like sometimes, like, I just wish the girls would be a little bit more on their feet and be a little bit more, this is what I stand for, this is what I don't stand for.
Stand on business.
Maybe I'll put my foot in my mouth for saying that, but whatever.
And have you received a lot of feedback from the community? After these parties, I'm sure a lot of people come up to you and they're like, I had such a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. I've had people crying, like, just really telling me how it's a desert here for queer people, specifically Black trans people. And it's just touching. Like, every time I go to do these parties, I always, like, ask myself, like, is it really worth it? It really takes a lot out of me, like, mentally, financially, stress-wise. And then when it's done, I'm like, and this is why I did it.
It's all worth it.
It's all worth it because this party, it's not about me at all. This is touching people's heart. This is giving people a space where there is literally nothing.
I feel like it's very necessary. Like, every time, well, I shoot them, so I'm there every time, right? But I see people there that I don't see anywhere else because they find that space to be so unique, and it really is. You don't hear that sound anywhere else. You don't meet those it's an energy. It's an energy and, like, a crowd that you can't find anywhere else.
Because the girls could go to Twist.
Right. That's Girl, that's not an option.
The girls could go to Twist, and no shade, because I'll go to Twist too. But
Desperate
there's a different
times call.
energy, right? It's like the reality is like white cis gay men and black trans people are in different spaces.
Yeah. I feel like most mainstream gay spaces here are gay
Are turfy
spaces.
as hell.
They're not queer spaces. I feel like there's a very big difference between a gay space and a queer space.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the queer spaces are sparse.
Don't
Is
get
that
it wrong.
how you say that?
I love the gay spaces.
Right,
I'm
right.
single. But
It's nice to
like,
learn.
Even as like a very passing, like trans man, like I still feel uncomfortable in those spaces, and like, what does that say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, even within like your own what's supposed to be your own community, there's like still so much division.
I'm a gay man. Why can't I go to Twist and feel comfortable? And I don't. Like, I am nervous. Like, and I feel like there's other people that feel that way, and like that's probably inherently because they're hunting. And that's not the energy we give at Call to Action.
Right.
The energy is release, family, community, releasing, therapy. All that stuff. And if y'all want to hook up in the bathroom, go ahead.
Right. No judgment.
Just don't cut the line.
We should do like a tier list. Where do you guys think Wilton Manor stands on that?
I haven't been out.
Wait, so
there.
I went to Wilson Manor recently, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, Twist is also very white, and like finally I found the black and brown gay people,
Exactly. Yeah.
and I was like, oh, this is fab, and y'all are attractive too. So we went for Halloween. I had a time, and I walked all that crawl, fab.
Took you a step.
Yeah, no, I had a great time. There was a strip club.
Ooh.
That's all you need to
Okay.
say.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Wilton Manors. I mean, there's also like the sugar daddy area as well. There's a lot of different energies there.
Right.
And I think that's because it's affordable. Honestly, I think a lot of the gay people got pushed up to Wilton Manors that used to originally live in Miami.
I did get a parking ticket there once, and it was like $20 instead of like the usual
The drinks
$36.
were $7.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
I'll give them that. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That gentrification does something to communities.
Mm-hmm.
It pushes everybody out, especially the native Miamians that were here. And now I think most people are in Fort Lauderdale now. So.
And as for like living in Miami as a whole, do you feel like there's a lot of support from necessarily like policies or legislation in, I guess, like Miami or South Florida or Florida as a whole
For what specifically legislation?
that you
for
feel
what?
like
queer legislation or?
yeah, I'm talking specifically about Don't Say Gay with Ron
Yeah.
DeSantis
Yeah.
and just like the effects that you've seen that have on the community.
Yeah.
Because at this point it's been a few years, so I feel like we can kind of see how it's just like trickled down and affected everybody.
Yeah, I think, when I've only been in Miami 2 years. The thing I can speak to is when all of those anti-trans bans came out. Technically, they didn't really affect the adults as much. The only thing that happened was you can't do telehealth.
Yeah, I actually got directly affected by that
I did not.
because I had an appointment for November and then I had to move it to January. The second the year changed, the appointment was online. I couldn't do it anymore. So I had to, actually, I didn't end up doing it and I've been off testosterone ever since. But, yeah, it's like inconvenient, to like be a trans person here. Because like it's so much, not only
harder.
like, it's hard.
Also,
It was not easy to get on testosterone at first, but it was easier than it is now to get back on it after I've been off,
there are a lot of gender affirming surgeries that people had canceled. So, for example,
Well, we are at UM, but
can
UM
I-
Hospital
yeah,
stopped doing
but
gender
can I say
affirming
that?
surgeries.
Yeah, we can
It's a
talk about
law.
it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
look,
They did it.
canceled all. Well, what
All
they did,
gender affirming
they pushed
surgeries.
everybody's surgeries like So everyone got like top surgery back to back, and then after June 30th, boom,
No
more.
more.
Wow.
I
And
tried-
you have people that got maybe the first stages of bottom surgery and now can't get it, and now
The
have
second
to go.
time, the second part, you're like halfway through.
Yeah.
You know.
I know people personally have been affected by this, and so it's a disgrace. They even were trying to play with me when I had something totally not related to gender affirming care, and was gonna tell me I can't get surgery. This was recently, so they're playing games. They need to cut the. I didn't say it. Because it's not fair and it is discrimination.
And would you guys say as a whole it's not easy at all to get gender affirming care here in Florida?
I
Do-
think it's a
yeah.
It's
logistical
not.
nightmare.
Logistical nightmare. In general, Florida healthcare is not good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
no shade, but
Yeah.
shade.
No, that's true.
It's not good.
I think a basic thing that like no one thinks about, but like I can't refill my testosterone prescription on the phone on the app. I have to call every time and be
Mhm.
on hold and then do it. You know, like it's for other medication you can just tap a button on your phone. You know,
yeah, like they make it hard
it's
intentionally.
it's nothing, but it's more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah,
you know?
I think the fact that UM is not doing gender affirming surgeries is enough for me.
Yeah,
That's
at
pretty
this
bad.
point, I mean, where I'm gonna go, I'm getting top surgery when next summer, and I'm going to a private place that takes insurance. Like at this point, there's no hospitals that are public that are doing like gender affirming surgeries.
Mhm.
It's all private practice.
I'd probably fly back to New York. Honestly, I don't even trust the system here.
I was gonna ask, have you heard of a lot of people, traveling out of state to get the care that they need,
Moving,
moving
Right.
entirely?
saying bye Miami.
Yeah.
You know how many
Yeah.
people we have lost because of Ron DeSantis, because of the politics,
Yeah.
and them wanting to immerse themselves in queerness, even though there are plenty of queer people here, people want easy access to gender affirming care
Yeah.
and not feel like they need to fight.
Jump
Like,
through hoops.
I mean, I can think of so many people that left, and it's terrible because it's like I'm gonna be the only one standing.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I hope my dream is that this becomes a sanctuary for queer and trans people because like the beach is everything. Like it's so healing. That's why we're doing
Vigil.
a beach vigil for Trans Day of Remembrance.
Yes.
I felt that it needed to be on the beach because the beach heals so much of us.
Do you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you're not familiar, we are in Trans Awareness Month, but specifically, November 20th is the day where we celebrate the lives of folks that have been essentially a result of transphobia. So,
Passed away.
who have passed
Yeah.
away. Thank you. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to have an altar where this is also open to folks who have experienced loved ones that have passed through genocide or all the genocides that are happening, or just a loved one in their life that have passed. So they'll be able to bring pictures of their family, fruit, flowers for the altar. We're also going to have a sound bath because this is really centered around people releasing. It's the same thing kind of as call to action. Finding out that Trump was elected was one of the hardest things for the community. We are going through it. We really need to just release and cry and let go and move on because we deserve to experience joy.
No, there's definitely been. I feel like that whole night was, everybody was on the edges of their seat, and we lost the two bills that everybody was kind of counting on.
Exactly. Also that.
Yeah, and it was just like blow after blow.
Yeah.
So
And I
feel you
don't
on that.
really believe Miami. I mean, parts of it are inherently red, but I really believe we lost because people did not vote.
Right.
They really don't believe in the system, but they don't understand that they're still a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking specifically about Florida.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that was gonna be November 20th.
November 20th from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. We'll be at 79th Street Beach. You can find more information on our socials at calltoaction.mia.
Yes, on Instagram. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
I I'm definitely gonna come out.
Please, yes. It's open to the whole community. Like,
Mhm.
we really just want everybody to have an opportunity to, like, gather around the fire and just
Mm.
release something.
Yeah, it's gonna be beautiful for sure.
Likewise, yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, Lunes, because you're a film director,
Hi.
and um, your last film specifically, or I'm not sure if it was your last film, but Hijos de la Diáspora. I wanted to ask you about, just the process of making it and how that also connects to your queerness and transness. But yeah, could you expand more on that?
Well, that film specifically doesn't necessarily relate to my transness. It
Mhm.
more relates to topics of identity and of national identity, like, um, huh? my people's Cubanness. We interviewed. So my mom was the producer. She like found all the people, did all the casting. We interviewed 21 people, half of them from Miami, half of them from around the world, and yeah, just exploring. Most of these people were not born in Cuba, were raised outside, or were left when they were children. So it's the relationship that they have with their Cuban identity, if they even identify with that at all. One of their parents or both of their parents are Cuban, but kind of the effect of where you're raised versus your home culture. I think a lot of people, a lot of immigrants in general, can relate to that. Of like, how much do I identify with my parents' culture versus where I'm living, right? So I was born and raised in Spain, and my parents are Cuban, and I definitely feel more Spaniard. But moving here is what made me connect really with my like Cuban identity, not necessarily through Miami Cubans, just through literally living in pretty much Cuba. Like, this is Cuba 2.0, you know?
Yeah.
So, just being able to get a little guava pastelito, that's enough Cuba. I've never had that in Spain, like, that's only that was like, okay, I'm in Cuba. Like, I get it.
That was enough.
Yeah. But I do have another short film that does relate to my transness that I will continue to work on and do as I continue my medical transition, called Growth dot 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 Routine. And it's kind of just the process of like discovering, being trans. I didn't know I was trans until I was like 18. So it was definitely like a process, and um, yeah, it's literally vlogs that I have from before I was on testosterone until then, like getting on. And
Yeah.
I want to record my top surgery and like have it be a part of that film too. So it's very much a work in progress as I live, because I have to live it to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did you start making films?
Well, making films is a very big statement. I feel like editing videos, making videos.
When
I
did you
started at
download Premiere
14.
Pro?
Right. I started on Windows Movie Maker actually in 2014. But yeah, just like having way too much free time when I immigrated from Madrid to Panama when I was 14, and there I had so much free time. I didn't have any friends. We were new to the country, didn't know anyone. So definitely delved deep into like recording myself, making music videos of myself. I would like sing into my laptop on GarageBand, make little covers and stuff. And then I moved here and joined TV production. And just literally moving here, I already knew that I wanted to go into film or like video or, things like that. And I'm graduating next spring from MDC's film bachelor's program.
Woo.
Yes. So, and my next documentary is about the underground scene. That's in the works. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you actually, was there a certain moment that you like decided you wanted to start documenting like queer nightlife, or just like queer experiences in general, or did it kind of just like manifest naturally?
My documentation of the scene didn't necessarily start in the queer scene. It started more in like Goon Green. He worked here.
Yeah,
He
shout out
was-
Phil,
Shout out
XGM.
Phil. I used to go to Phil's house shows like late 2021 and discovered the scene through that, And going there was like, dude, this people need to know about this. So I started to bring my camera. That's when I started to do the weekly posts about what's going on in the scene. And I just started bringing my camera everywhere I go. I don't do it anymore because I need breaks. You know,
No,
sometimes
yeah,
you have to go
definitely.
out just to go out.
Still waiting on those 3 points pictures.
Oh my gosh,
No, I'm just
yes,
kidding.
I know. I keep postponing it because I'm very busy.
No, people are still posting their 3 points recaps, and
Right. I have a little time,
So-
right?
you have time.
They're good, though. They're really good.
No, yeah, that's why I'm excited to see them because I saw you with your
Yes.
whole setup, so I was like,
Yes.
can't wait.
It was so much fun. 3 points is always exhausting. I always see way too many people, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, very true. Especially the second day, there was a lot of people.
Yeah. So many locals in that lineup. So cool.
But moving it back to you, Sam, kind of a similar question. Was there like a particular moment for you, or do you have like a memory that where you decided you wanted to, make this the center of why you're organizing these parties?
Are you talking about like Beyond the Club or the?
Oh yeah, if you want to talk about Beyond the Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So initially, I just wanted to really have a few interviews for this month because I want to celebrate trans people, and then we kind of linked, and I was like, oh wow, people really like this. Oh wait a minute, there's so many trans people I need to interview. We can't fit this into November.
1 month. That's
So yeah,
crazy.
so we interviewed a lot of amazing people, Opal, Jupiter, Gami, Ketamine,
Micah Amani.
Lunes.
Wow.
Me, trying to think.
Brock.
What else. Broccoli.
Yeah, so we have a lot of really incredible content coming out all up until the end of December.
Yes.
And people have been really responding really well. One, because of what just happened with the election, but two, I think trans people were always depicted in this like terrible way. Someone was killed, something happened, can't go to the bathroom, like what's next? And like I was like, you know what? No. We are resilient, but we are actually thriving too. Like look at all these trans people that are like killing it. Like they said, you can't be here. We're like, actually, no, we can. So that's like why I really, that's like my initial thought behind Beyond the Club. And also like, I think like, I know all these people in the scene is like, hey babe, but I don't know a lot of their story. And so
Yeah.
like, I wanted this to be a deep, vulnerable moment for people to really express themselves. Cause it's like, y'all all know Opal, right?
Of course, yeah.
What beyond her being a drag queen, what do you know? Like, so I wanted people to get an opportunity to get inside and see the stories of these beautiful people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's been incredible to listen to these stories. We've interviewed 7 people, and it's very healing in a way to like not to know that you're not the only one going through things. And I feel like people are really gonna resonate with that. And like, I don't know, it's been so well received already. It's like crazy.
and people
Yeah.
outside of Miami need to see this.
Yes.
That was like my other
That we're
really big
here
piece.
and
Is like
thriving.
people in New York are like, Miami trans, like you crazy to live there? Yes, we actually are crazy to live here. This is the boiling pot of like them cooking up anti-trans stuff. Like they love to start here, and we are actually here and thriving. Like it's so taboo. It's giving like just ooh, actually I want to be here because they're trying so hard to get me out, and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna move, babe.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, Akaya says this, Pressure Point says this all the time. Like, how are you gonna, like, you can't do the work not being here, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I also feel that way, not in the same way, but I feel the same way with what I do. Like, I need to be here. What am I gonna do moving to another city? You know, like the work is
where
here.
else would you want to go? It's
Right.
like pay double
There's
the
so
rent
much
and-
here.
Yeah, Miami is an incredible place.
Yeah.
She is fab. She is fab and she's pretty all the time.
Well,
She's
except
emotional.
for the hurricane.
I
cry
honestly, I
sometimes.
feel like the girls would say that they also the real Miami's the real Floridians like flourish in the hurricane. Like I
I'm
know it's
dead.
like it's a loaded statement, but like
until it floods your house.
that. I'm talking about the wins.
Right.
Yeah.
It's your only excuse to not do anything. Like you have to stay
Yeah,
home.
and to like, it's a spiritual thing, I think, too.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, category 2 is 3 is like, sorry, Tampa.
Yeah. Like nature kind of, being a force bigger than any of us.
It feels,
Yeah.
our ancestors are coming through.
So I have a few more questions for you guys before we kind of just come to a close. But I did want to ask you, what advice would you give to other marginalized groups that are trying to start, fundraising collectives such as this one for their community? Like, what are the biggest challenges that you faced when you were first starting?
Money. To pay people and to also give money to people. You really need to know how, like, strategically how to build a party, because if you don't, you're going to be out. I mean, this is general stuff for partying, but I think there's a little bit more pressure when you know that there's a good chunk of change that has to go to somebody. And there's nothing worse than throwing this party and then you have nothing to give to the person that it was all about. So I would say, like, going back to the fundamentals of just like building a really great party that people want to come to, because then the money will come. For me, I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I do everything. I am call to action. When I say we, it's technically me, and then I have a lot of people that help me. So you really need a good team by you that really understands what's going on and how to help. So, and what? Asking for help when
Absolutely,
I'm
yeah.
like strapped,
Yeah.
people. One thing I did really notice recently: people really want to be a part of what you're doing. So trusting that they understand the vision and the community behind it is really important. So.
And do you need, or do you think that there needs to be like a cultural shift in Miami in order for us to keep progressing, past all of this legislation and past all of like the discrimination that is faced by trans people every day?
They're not gonna save us. Like, I'm like, legislation who? Like trans people have been getting their hormones in the black market since forever. It's nice that we can go get a prescription, but like, community will always be there and show up. And I think that's literally what call to action is like, oh, you told us like that you can't help me cover this with insurance. Like, don't worry about it, babe. Like, I got you.
Yeah.
So it's
a
really
lot of
about,
support.
I think, like, grassroots really being in community, because we love to throw that word around. But like, what does it really mean for you to show up for me?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Besides the club. And I think that also bridges into beyond the club, is like, what does it really mean for us to help each other? How can we actually show up for each other? And I know that's really hard. We're all struggling right now. But I think it's kind of like it doesn't matter what they come out with next. It really doesn't. We will figure it out.
You'll always be here.
I truly believe that.
We're not going
Especially in
anywhere.
Miami, because it's like, it's giving Wild Wild West out here. Like, we will figure it out. The girls will scam. They will do what they need to do. What? Doll Defense, right. A mutual friend of mine is starting a nonprofit called Doll Defense that will help arm the dolls. We also will be, our next party, we will be giving out tasers and pepper spray. Because it's important for folks to be protected.
It definitely is, yeah. That's a really good initiative that you guys are taking too, because other collectives I've seen also give out Narcan like at parties.
Yeah, we have
Also
Narcan.
super important.
Yeah, so I think that's actually one thing I want to talk about, is that we got some feedback about just in general, like, how we can be better about public health and safety. I want to say this: a party is not a safe space. It is not inherently, right? You can make it a safer space, but let's be real. We're doing drugs. We're all traumatized. We're having a good time. Things are going to happen, right? COVID is still out there. We are gathering indoors. Like, it's a breeding ground to get sick. So it's like, what can we do to be preventative? Masks, Narcan, um, what else? Condoms,
Right.
testing on site. Um, what's it called? The drug testing. Like you can
Yeah.
test for fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
So we provide this stuff at the door. So if you want it, come get it. I can't. We cannot like assume it's a safe space. I really want people to get that very clear. But we can at least give you the tools, and if you want to take them, they're there for you.
I think in that way, there's also like a lot of community trust, and trusting that people are coming to these parties with those good intentions of treating it like a safe space, even though it's not an inherently safe space.
Yeah, it's also like my party is also not a rave. Not
Yeah,
saying that.
exactly.
I mean, a lot of folks usually do consume substances with a rave. This is not that. So I think that's something else to sort of say. Like, I'm not worried about, God forbid, that happening.
Okay. Well, I also wanted to ask, just generally, do you guys want to shout out any upcoming collaborations or anything that you're working on, either just like independently or for call to action?
I have a show on Saturday, the last
Nice.
mic drop. We're doing live rap. It's 6 performers. The first couple is like rap over house beats. And then we have some, well, I'll just say the names. We have Jaren McDowell and Shad doing like that type of vibe, very gay rap. That's what I've been calling it. It's like, gay pop? Jojo Siwa? Well, gay rap. We have Cades, which is like straight up rap. And then we have Foom. They're a little funky vibe. And then Trust Nobody. They're like alt rap rock, everything. They're like a melting pot of genres. We also have figure drawing at 8:30. It's 8 to 1. So 8:30, we're starting with a figure drawing session, while Mystics will be on the decks. And we have Rocky closing the night, spinning, and we have a photo booth by 9, and we have jewelry, records, like vendors, Underbelly Magazine is also going to be there, Day of Pold. Yeah, it's a lot of things happening. Also, live art. I always forget. Live art, I curated
Yes.
3 people painting on the same canvas throughout the night, so you'll see the piece come to life as the night goes, happens, and everyone, by the end of the night, you have a beautiful piece. So it's
That's
yeah.
always like such a grounding part. Like coming back to the like where it's happening and just seeing it progress.
Yeah. You like check back into
Exactly. Yeah.
the
As you're walking around, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that much time has passed.
painting. Yeah.
But it's really nice seeing it come to life.
Yeah. It's the last one for, well, ever. I'm not doing any more mic drops after this. So if you've never been, you should definitely stop by. This Saturday, 8 to 1 p.m. at the Sandbox, Miami Beach.
The Sandbox. Nice. It's a really nice
Huge.
location.
Yes. At Always Lunes. Everywhere.
Everywhere, all the time. How about you,
How about
Sam?
you?
So new project Beyond the Club with us. So we're producing that together. I guess we're gonna call this maybe a season as well.
Yeah. Let's call it a season.
Let's call it a season. So I'm sure next year we'll have a whole nother group of trans folks that we'll be interviewing as well. I mean, I love it. I really would love to take it nationally. It'd be incredible. That's the goal, maybe 2025.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to interview more people in Florida, Gainesville, Tampa, Orlando. Yeah, elders, and we have older trans people on the show as well, which I really think is important. Trans Day of Remembrance, y'all know. We also have a December party, which will be let's call it Santa's Mistress themed.
Dead. I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be nasty, and we're gonna definitely do a costume contest. And last time we did it
Okay.
ballroom style, which got
It was amazing.
It was
It was
amazing.
terrible to try to shoot as the videographer because everyone was
Yeah.
like everywhere
That's-
around each other.
That's December 21st. So look out for that. And then 2025, we're going to be opening up applications for people to apply for fund for the actual recipient of the fund. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to be focusing specifically only on gender affirming care. So this is going to be folks who want to get on hormones, folks for surgery, so forth, so forth. I really want to do a call to action on a boat.
Wow.
How many people?
Like 100.
What? What type of boat?
Maybe like
We're gonna rock the
150.
boat.
Right, you're
Like
getting
maybe get multiple boats. I don't know. But
dead.
A
like
fleet of boats.
that is a vision I have for 2025. I hope I can pull that off. I need
That's
a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
But
That's a
I,
big
I,
boat.
I believe in myself to do it. Yeah, they're sponsors.
Right.
So something
sure.
like that. The other thing I've always wanted to do is a block party.
Wow.
So 2 really big projects I really hope to maybe pull off, if not within the next 2 years. And I do want to take call to action to other cities. My city, but I mean, they got enough going on over there. I really want to take it in the South. Like, I really feel like the work needs to be done, not in the metropolitan cities, but like
Where the queer people are feeling
are
the
struggling.
most alone.
Yeah, like
Yeah, before
so
Mardi Gras, call to action Mardi Gras would be
I
cool.
could see that. I
could see that. I could
We
definitely see that.
Mazizi has some connections in New Orleans, so I'm sure we could talk to them. But yeah, I'm just gonna dream big. So we'll see what
yeah.
happens. But really, mostly important, just like keep giving funds to the community.
Thank you guys so much for sharing your experiences. I think it's super important to highlight these stories and the work that you're doing with Beyond the Club. I can't wait to see where that goes. Are you guys going to be doing like weekly drops? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next one will be airing Monday. My good friend Elias will be the person we interviewed. They are a Palestinian trans person, and they do very, very beautiful work here. They do Palestinian dinners.
Delicious.
Delicious food. You want to talk about community, babe? That is community. It's like a beautiful long table of 30 people gathering together. They also talk about ways you can get involved. What's their handle?
I'm gonna be fast.
Papu something.
Oh, Papu Habib. Is that
Papu
you were
Habib?
asking about that?
Yeah.
Habib.
That's how you can find them.
Papu Habib _
Yeah, so we'll be kind of hearing about their story on Monday.
Okay. Looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much again.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
it's such a huge honor. And and you guys can find the recording on our YouTube channel at WVM FM. It'll be up probably later this weekend. But yeah, thank you again so much. It's an honor to know both of you just as people, and to know that, you're working so hard to make this place a better place for other people and for other trans people. So thank you.
Thank you so much. You're the best.
Aw, the best. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And if you also tune in later, we will have our 24-hour marathon starting at midnight. But yeah, shout out to Mr. B and Lunes Onya.
Thank you.
Thank you, y'all. You know where to find us.